Hey crypto traders, CMattDye here. Hopefully you're having a fantastic day, and I wanted to talk about some charts, talk about some things that I'm seeing, talk about a possible trade coming up, and it's a perfect time to talk about it. So let's get into it. This is the total market cap. I started the last video off with this. I'm going to incorporate it into the videos. Right now we're at $1.025 trillion market cap. And if this is going to continue, we should see it take out 1.08, 1.18 if this is going to continue up. Now, it's probably going to continue being choppy because right now at that 1.10, 1.11 trillion dollar level, that's the level where if this was going to go, it should be pushing up. Let's drop down to an hourly chart and I'll talk about what I'm talking about. These charts are kind of neat, but sometimes they take a while to set up. So we have this move up, this move down, and now this is moving up, and we're seeing it struggle right here. So that is already kind of a red flag that, you know, this is going to be probably choppy on the way up, which is what I was kind of anticipating. And last week I kind of gave my thoughts, and maybe I went on a little bit more of a rant than I should have, but you know, this isn't a move that's going to just go crazy. Right now it is kind of choppier looking. This move down is also choppy, so it can go up a little more, but right now that's kind of what I am seeing in the overall market cap. So now let's jump into the rest of the crypto market. So let's jump into Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is pretty much doing the same thing that it was doing before. Same thing it was doing in the last chart. So let's drop down here to an hourly chart because you guys know what I'm thinking long term. I'm looking for a support here prior to this 13,880 level. If it breaks 13,880, I'm gonna have to look at this a little bit differently than I'm looking at it now. Right now, WXY is how I'm viewing this into a fourth wave. So that's how I'm viewing it. If we're to break that, something else is happening. But now let's go to this hourly chart. And let me do this. And pretty much this is where we are at. Now I had some levels on the downside just in case this did come a little lower. I was watching this as it pushed off. There's a perfect ABC into an A, B, C. I initially thought. Now ABC, and this could be the end of a C. Now this is doing the same thing that the larger market cap is doing. So in this move, it's possible that it could turn into something very bearish. Most likely, however, it is going to go a little higher. Now maybe it comes up and comes down, and then from there finds support and goes up. But it looks like it's just going to continue being choppy from my perspective. So that's how I'm going to view this. It's still choppy. It's not the most bearish thing in the world, so we're not going straight down from here. It's just going to chop and probably go up a little bit more. Next, let's look at Ethereum. And Ethereum is probably the best looking chart out of all of them. Ethereum, you kind of just had to stay above 366.29. It's well above that. We had some levels down in the upper 500, mid 800, and you can see it came down to barely in the 800s. So 896, 880, whatever. But now that it's bouncing, let's jump down here to the hourly chart. And I don't day trade, like I'm not in a trade and 5 minutes later I'm out. Usually not. Usually I'm in a trade for a few hours to a few days, maybe a few weeks. And when I get a good one, a few months. But that's usually how I trade, and that's why I chart the way I do. So with Ethereum, you're seeing a similar move to the overall crypto market, a similar move to Bitcoin, but it is showing more strength here. So what are we seeing now? We're seeing, you know, this move was nice, but then it came up again, which looks like an ABC to me. And, or, you know, if this is a 1, then this whole thing is a corrective structure, just a very ugly one. But, you know, this move is actually looking pretty good. This move here evidently a little choppy. If it stays above this low, and now if it stays above this low, which is around 1490, and pushes up, we can actually see this thing go up quite a bit more. So that is definitely interesting for Ethereum. Okay, also on Ethereum, we can see that this move is actually hitting, it broke this blue line and it's chopping right around this green line at 1609. That 1794, I would say 1713, 1794 is going to be kind of important. If this thing is going to go higher, I would expect that it probably comes down a little prior to that. But right now it's kind of just there, and we're really just waiting. I think this next move up is probably going to be the last one, maybe. But we really have to wait and see. But, you know, coming down a little before it goes up kind of makes sense. And it makes sense going into this next market, Cardano, because there's a trade possibly setting up. So if we go to Cardano, let me scroll down and out. All right, this is kind of what I'm watching right now, this possible trade setup. And if you look at it, we're looking at 90 points on the downside and 458 on the upside. And it can possibly come up here and flirt with this green line at 57. Now, getting above 57 is going to be important. If this does start to move, if this does actually start to move, then this can be a nice structure right here, actually. So that's what I'm looking at, this possible trade here. And that's what I was wanting to talk about. Let me jump to the daily real quick. And my only gripe about this charting platform is this: you have to kind of change your chart every time you look. But it's not that big of a gripe. It's actually a pretty good charting platform overall. So this is kind of where we're at. You know, we had this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This was our finished impulse pattern, and we're looking for a 2 down here to finish off this C wave. And this move right here, let's see if we can zoom out a little bit here. So, you know, this low over here was at 40.19, and this low over here is at 40.23. So this was lower right here technically. However, it doesn't really mean much on its own. So if we're keeping an eye on this pattern here, this pattern could be the start of something. Let me go back down here to the hourly chart, and yeah, this charting platform is a little bit of a pain, but actually I kind of like it overall. So, you know, this, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if this is actually what's playing out, we should get this support. And I think we get support whether it is or not. The only thing is it will get support. It'll come up a little bit. You'll get some rejection over here. It won't really go up that much. It'll come back down. And then what happens from there? So that's what I'm watching on Cardano. A nice little possible trade setting up. And that's what I like, little trades like that can last for, you know, few, you know, maybe a day or so. Now let's go to Polygon, and Polygon I like as an actual crypto to be long for a long-term time frame. So anyway, this is kind of what I'm looking for in Matic. And we have this impulse, just like with Cardano. We have this finished impulse, and we're looking for a wave 2 to the downside. Possible that it does come down a little more, and that's what I want to pay attention to. So let's jump down here to this hourly chart, and here we are. And I talked about this in the last video. I talked about this ABC pattern, where this was a ABC up, this was an ABC down, this is an ABC currently. And the real question is, what does this pattern turn into? Does it turn into this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Does it not? I don't think it's going to be the start of anything, because this is an ABC here, and yeah, you could tailor it to make it an impulse move, but That's not what we're in the job of doing. We don't make our analysis fit our bias. We make our bias fit our analysis. And that's a lot easier said than done because we're humans. And that's why I'm trying to change that in the near future, at least a little bit with a select group of people. So anyway, 1, 2, 3. This is a 4, maybe. We don't have a move up in 5 yet. So right now it is very choppy. It's probably going to come back down again. And then what happens? We do have, I'm going to call it 62.5 cents. I don't want to see price get below that. Ideally, it stays above 67 cents. Ideally, it stays in the 70s. But, getting back below 62.5 cents. So let's say this high is intact. This comes down and breaks this. Well, then this ABC structure is done. And another structure is showing up. And we have to look and see what that is. Currently, I don't really have anything on Matic at the moment. There could be a long setting up down here. I'm going to wait for that. It's not clear, but that's what I'm looking for right now. This is just a sideways corrective structure. Something's going to end up playing out. If it supports and pushes up, that would be kind of nice, but that would be the end of the move, and I would be looking for another move lower. So that's kind of what I'm paying attention to, what I'm waiting for to happen. We do have this 105, 112. Those are big areas to look for. I don't think the price is going to run up to 132. It could, but that's just not something I'm anticipating. So I think if it does move up, it's probably going to come a little bit over $1, and then from there, get another move down. So that's what I'm thinking about with Matic. It's definitely an interesting one and one that I like. So now let's go to Solana. And Solana, it ended up doing exactly what I wanted it to do. I talked about a lot. I wanted to see it stay over that $22 level. Needs to stay over $22. Needs to stay over $22. Well, it came down to $25.87, and then it started pushing up, and it's been over $30 for the majority of the time since pretty much all month. It's been over $30. So that is interesting to see. And that's something that price really had to do. So, if you took that trade, that would have been great. I didn't take that trade. But, just saying, if it had to stay over 22 and you grabbed along at 26 or, maybe you got in at 25.5 or 27, you'd be happy right now. But it's just not a trade that I took. So just pointing that out, that I definitely didn't take that trade. ABC up. Another ABC here. So it looks like an ABC up, maybe a B, maybe this is the B, and then this was the C. No matter what, this is a choppy pattern. This is definitely a choppy pattern. So most likely we have like this, A, B, C. Most likely it's something like that, and it would be a different, let's see, maybe something like that. And this would be another, this would be the A wave, the B wave. Is this going to be the end of the C wave? We'll kind of have to wait and see. This did take out this high, so it's just choppy. It's very, very choppy. So it's not something I really want to be a part of at the moment. We know that it's sideways and it's choppy. So there's a very high probability that when it's over with, it will go lower. And that's what I talked about last video, that no matter what happens, I think it's going lower. I don't think this is the start of a move like with Solana, like $300-400 or something crazy, or with Bitcoin 120,000. I don't think this is the start of that move. I think it definitely goes lower. When I say definitely, I mean 98% likelihood. Because nothing is 100%. It doesn't matter what it is. If you drop a rock, it falls. Yeah, that's probably 100% true on Earth. But if you go to space, that's 100% false. So it's all about perspective, all about what you see. Now I want to talk about Binance coin, and let me jump back down to the hourly chart so we can jump into the longer term view of it. Let's go to Binance coin. Did a bad job of that. So I'm looking at this similar to how I'm looking at Bitcoin, this 1, 2, 3 WXY into 4. And it really looking at, I was watching 200 and then 128. Somewhere in there I was looking at potential support, and we're getting that support, but then we can get another move down. So let's jump down here to the hourly chart and we can talk about it. So let me do that real quick. And the more I do this with the charts, maybe I become better at switching between hourly and daily charts. It could happen, but I'm not holding my breath. So anyway, what I'm looking at, I saw this move, and this move looks pretty good. This move looks pretty good. So you had this choppiness here, and it looks like you know, an A, a B, and a C, or a 1, 2, and but you can see this gray line. This, you know, price is really hesitating right here, which tells me there's a high likelihood that this is a corrective move. And I was thinking it was a corrective move before I even saw this. So last video I did, I was thinking it was a corrective move. Why is that? Well, I've seen so many charts. You know, I've been trading for so long. I've seen so many charts, and you know, I just start to see these patterns, and I'm not always right. I'm not trying to say I'm the best analyst, the best trader in the world. I would never claim that, because trading is probably the most difficult thing you can do in life. You know, there's a couple things that are probably more difficult. Being an Alaskan fisherman, I would never even attempt that. That seems super difficult. You know, maybe working on an oil well where a lot of hurricanes pass by at a certain time of the year. That would be totally difficult. But as far as like doing something and being successful at it, trading is right up there. It's super difficult. So anyway, this hesitation here kind of tells me that my last video, that rant that I did, the thinking that I was on, is correct. So it looks like this can go up again, maybe one more time. Maybe it comes down first and then goes higher, which I think that would be more likely. So if this comes down and goes up. Now there's one way that a lot of these choppy, ugly markets can actually start to show a lot of bullishness. And that would be, you know, a move like this, this. It comes down and stays above this low, but it comes below this high. So it comes down to probably about 238, 240 to 220, somewhere in there. And then it comes back up and makes another high. And then that, if it were to do that, then we could look at this as like a leading diagonal. That's what the terminology would be. But if we look at it like that, that's the one possibility where this thing could actually get bullish, and likelihood of that is low. So that's why when I talk about stuff, I talk about what I'm thinking, what I'm doing, how I'm trading, and how I'm seeing things, because I've talked to enough people and they've told me they see benefit in that, rather than me giving them like 5 different scenarios and pick which one you want. Me telling what the likelihood is that I see, you know, this likelihood is this likelihood is that, then it provides benefit for people. So I mean, if you get something out of it, let me know in the comment section, because I definitely appreciate that. You know, whether it's constructive feedback, you don't like a certain thing, or you do like a certain thing, I appreciate it. You know, it's not easy speaking your mind. So if you want to speak your mind, do it. You know, that's what the comment section is there for. Just be courteous when you do it. So anyway, that is Binance coin. And next I want to talk about XRP, just because I've had a lot of people ask me, by a lot I mean like a couple, just because my channel is kind of small, but they want me to talk about XRP. And XRP is an interesting one. I'm not a big fundamental analyst. I do fundamental analysis on certain things, like usually it's with stocks or currencies, because I trade foreign exchange and stocks also. And because of that, I do a little bit of fundamental analysis. So when the technicals do line up, I can get an entry into that fundamental bias. So that is how I look at that. With XRP, there's some fundamental reasons why you should and should not be in it. And there's technical reasons why you should be looking for a short. So, even though something does have good things behind it, like Bitcoin, for example, it went from 70,000 down to 22,000. It's at 22,723 right now. So even though there's a bull case for it, and you can talk about, fundamental reasons to be in it, if you would have gotten it at 70,000, you'd be down. It's 22.7 thousand right now. You'd be down a lot. So just because something is fundamentally a good thing, it can also be fundamentally a bad thing. I talked to a friend about this the other day. If you enjoy my rants, let me know. But I talked to a friend about this the other day, and he was in a debate club when he was in high school. Which, some people might laugh at that, some people might not, but it's a great skill, actually. So his teacher was pretty smart. I didn't know his teacher, but what they would do is they let him debate a topic for about 5 or 10 minutes. And then the teacher would automatically put him on the other side, and he'd have to debate that side for 5 or 10 minutes. And then they'd switch him back. And it's the same thing that Phil Jackson used to do with Michael Jordan. If you were a basketball fan, back in the 90s, early 2000s, you knew who Michael Jordan was. He was the best basketball player, in my opinion, during that time. And during practice, they would have him on one team, and they would get ahead. And then Phil Jackson would put him on the other team, and he'd have to play from behind. And that's the sign of a professional, is you do something until you can't get it wrong. You want to see both sides, and that was the reason I told you about the debate club. You want to be able to see both sides. Why would you be long? Why would you be short? Okay. And then with the Michael Jordan reference, you want to be good at your craft. So if you're doing something, you want to be good at it. Like, I was in a Discord, and about a month and a half ago, a guy came in and just started spouting off all these fundamental reasons to be in all these cryptocurrencies. And he was talking about XRP for one, and I told him, I'm short XRP. And he was like, well, why would you want to do that? And then he was like, well, it's probably going to go down a little bit, but I don't care. I'm DCAing, or dollar cost averaging. There's a rhyme and a reason to the markets. If you want a dollar cost average, that's fine, but you do that at the bottom, or near the bottom. You don't want to get in at 150, and then you get in at 95 cents, and then you get in at 60 cents, and you get in at 45 cents, and then 30 cents. That's dollar cost averaging, but that's not a smart use of your capital. I'm going to cover a lot of these, and when I get my Discord set up, it's taking a little bit longer than I wanted, but it is what it is. I have family in town, and for me, family's super important. I want to have a good business, and I do, but I want to have a good business on Cardano, but it's taking a little while. So you got to do what you can. But anyway, long story short, let's keep looking at this. And I was looking at probably coming down like a ABC structure here. And so looking for a low. Right now, you're seeing this move up. And I want to jump down here to this hourly chart and look at it to see a couple things. Okay. And here we are. So we have this move up. and it looks like a clear ABC structure, so sideways structure. And this is probably an ABC here. So this would be an A, a B. You know, is this going to be ending in a C up here around 40, maybe 39, 42 cents? That is something that could be happening. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. Is this having the potential to maybe come down a little and then come up again and just be this super sideways action? So that's kind of what I'm thinking, and what I'm looking for is that possibility. So is, you know, depending on what happens, we can look at it a little differently. Right now, I don't have a trade at all in XRP. I do think that it does go lower at some point. So let's jump out here to a daily chart one more time. And let's look at a couple things. So this is like an A, B, and this looks like a C. This looks like a completed move here, but this could get something else. So we have this move down. We could have, if it stays below 54 cents, so that 39.42 cents that I'm looking at right now as the immediate resistance, you know, we could see that. We could get another low, and then if you want to get in for a long, that would be the time to DCA, or dollar cost average, if that's what you wanted to do. I'm not recommending that. I'm not holding XRP long term. It could be something good, but my analysis is that the government is holding XRP in, the US government is holding XRP into trials. They can't really do anything, and there are other people that are going to rip off XRP's technology, and that's what's going to be used. That's my theory. I think it makes a lot of sense. But, you know, maybe XRP does hold off. However, no matter what happens, I do think XRP is probably going to come down here and then probably come up into this range. That makes sense. You know, but this chart is pretty ugly. There's a lot prettier charts out there. There's better things to be in. But those are my thoughts. That's kind of what I'm thinking. You know, if you enjoyed the video, throw a like. If not, throw a dislike. If there's a different currency or something in addition to one of these currencies that you would like me to talk about, let me know, and I can add it to the list. You know, because I do these for fun. I also trade some of these myself. But, you know, if you want some guidance or you want to hear my thoughts, you know, let me know, and I would be happy. So anyway, with that, thanks for watching. You know, your viewership means a whole lot to me, more than you know. So thank you very much for watching my video. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you in the crypto markets. Take care. Thank you.